Hello, everyone. My name is Zomaya, and I am a cultural anthropology master's student and a volunteer at World Relief, a community service agency located in Albany Park, Chicago. I wrote my report for the Refugees in Town project on the different waves of migration in Albany Park. Today, I will be discussing the legacy of these different migrant communities that have left behind in the neighborhood. Joining me is Angelica Barahona. Angelica is the Asylum Project Manager at World Relief. I am pleased to have her present with me today and share her perspective on integration as a practitioner.
Yes, thank you. As we think about this topic, it is important to keep in mind what motivates most of us to migrate in the first place. It is often the idea of leaving something better for our children and generations to come. And this is what we call a legacy. When done right, building a legacy can provide lasting networks of support and can foster life skills that remain with immigrant communities for the future. Thus, the hope of our video is that our story will inspire you and provide you with practical takeaways about how you can build a legacy together with refugees and immigrant communities in our cities.
So, a quick overview of Chicago. Chicago City has been known historically as one of the main gateway cities in the US, where it has been a destination for many migrant groups throughout the years. One of those Chicago neighborhoods is Albany Park, which is considered to be one of the most ethnically diverse neighborhoods in the US. What about the neighborhood structure and the dynamic? Albany Park is the home to many migrant families that come from Scandinavian, Hispanic, Asian, and many other cultural backgrounds. Although census maps in my report show segregation of residencies in the neighborhood based on ethnicities, I want to note that shops and centers are not always clustered in one area. It is common to find different ethnic groups sharing the same commercial space. In fact, many residents tend to visit and buy from stores and shops of other cultures. So as far as integration in the neighborhood, throughout the years, migrant groups such as Swedish, Korean, Mexican, and many others established different health and community centers that helped shape the structure of the neighborhood. These educational and healthcare centers, such as the Swedish Covenant Hospital, North Park University, and many others, not only benefited the residents of Albany Park, but also helped serve communities from surrounding areas. So this unity of Albany Park residents is nothing new, really. It has been ingrained in the neighborhood's identity and goes back to many years ago. One of the most wonderful and powerful stories that I've heard from one of my interviewees for this report showcases this sense of unity. It's been known that the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois wanted to rebuild the North River Bridge. However, the project was estimated to take about 2.5 years to complete. But due to the community's effort, which consisted of community centers and residents from different ethnic groups, all coming together to fix this problem, the project was completed in just 43 days. Most recently, centers such as the Hana Center, which was established by the Korean community to serve Korean residents, is now serving mostly Latino clients since the demographic of the neighborhood has changed in recent years. So this slide basically shows the different centers that are serving the migrant communities in the neighborhood, and there are so many more other centers that are not here in this slide as well. So when we look at the Albany Park neighborhood, we learned that integration requires forward thinking, where migrant communities are creating centers and institutions that not only benefit their own people, but also other groups that might later settle in the neighborhood.
Thank you, Saidouri, for that wonderful overview of the neighborhood. Now I want to share a little bit more of how integration for lasting legacy looks like from the practitioner side. Namely, I want to share 2 core practices and values related to our role as an organization in the building of this new wing for Albany Park. For over 40 years, World Relief has been in this neighborhood, serving refugees and immigrant families. I'm currently in the same building that has been passed down among 2 generations of the Shan family. immigrants from South Korea. The first practice that we have identified as key for legacy is prioritizing the family's self-sufficiency, meaning that as we assist the families in relocating, we don't just want to tell them what to do or simply do the work for them. Rather, we teach our participants the key skills that they will need in order to thrive after being resettled by our agency. We are not only thinking on what's more efficient for me as a caseworker, to get my numbers, to finish my case, to move to the next task, but we're also thinking on what will bring the biggest impact in the future of this person. We ask ourselves, what will help them grow later? A simple but intentional example of this practice is that I often choose to take public transportation over driving my car when I go to appointments with a client. It might sound small, but this inconvenience of adding extra time to my commute actually feeds into a core skill that we want our families to learn, and that is how to navigate the public transportation when you live in a city as big as Chicago. In doing this, we increase their confidence in their own ability to move in the city. When they have to go to a doctor's appointment and to a job interview, we know that they can do it in a timely manner and without fear. This, I just want to highlight that promoting self-sufficiency is vital if we really want to achieve integration of immigrant communities. Additionally, to promote a healthy integration, we also have to be able to innovate. And rather than seeing ourselves as serving only this people group, we have chosen to invest our resources in servicing all newcomers. This has required for us to keep a pulse on the changes in our city and in the neighborhood to continue to identify who's the most vulnerable around us, what challenges are they facing, what services are they needing now, and also how we can channel funding into these new initiatives. A recent example of successful innovation in this has been the creation of the Asylum program where I work now. This is the first intensive case management program for asylum seekers in the whole city. Since the creation of the program last year, we have trained already 6 other community organizations in how to serve asylum seekers, as the numbers of our nation have multiplied over 2,000 in the last 10 years of newcomers. At this point, I would like to also briefly mention the posture of our city in regards to refugees and immigrants. Over the years, Chicago has been identified as a sanctuary city for immigrants. We have a specific legislation and budget items dedicated to serve and provide basic services to immigrants. However, with the changes taking place in the immigration system nationwide, we have seen that the city has not been as quick to adapt to the newcomers, making it hard for those in the margins like asylum seekers and undocumented immigrants to receive the care they need when they need it. In summary, as a community organization, we have learned that ushering integration requires prioritizing capacity building in the people that we serve, as well as innovating in our approach and keeping up flexible and capable of change in our hospitality.
So while immigration continues to positively shape Albany Park's neighborhood, we aspire that other communities will also emulate this model of integration, where they too can be transformed by the efforts of the migrant groups that move there. We say this with the hope of not just improving the living conditions for current residents, but also leaving behind a legacy for future generations of migrants to come. To conclude, we would like to share another powerful story of legacy from a nonprofit organization called Renew Project. Renew Project empowers refugee women by teaching them English and sewing by providing them jobs at their sewing factory. During the COVID-19 pandemic, at the beginning of the pandemic, Renew Project switched their production lines to the manufacturing of face masks and contributed greatly to World Relief and other community organizations by raising funds and by donating face masks to immigrant families from World Relief. This story is an example of a lasting legacy that extends from refugees to the larger community in times of need. So with this, we will end our presentation. Thank you all for joining us today. We hope you all stay safe and healthy. Thank you.